Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today we're doing round 3 of fictional characters that I would square up with. So I have another list of 5 book characters that I would fight, as well as 1 bonus character from a TV show. Funnily enough, the first 2 characters were both written by R.F. Kuang. Sidebar, I do have an author review of R.F. Kuang. I will have that linked in the cards and in the description if you are interested. And the first one is Juniper, whatever the fuck her last name is, from Yellowface. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this book. I rated it 5 stars. I think that she accomplished exactly what she set out to, and that was to create a completely unhinged character. And she did so successfully. Juniper is out of her fucking mind. The mental gymnastics that this bitch puts herself through in order to justify her actions, knowing that she is wrong, is wild. I feel like Yellowface in particular gets a lot of criticism, and in a weird way, a lot of the criticism of the book is actually personal criticism of the author. But at the end of the day, the story is not as far-fetched as some people try to make it out to be. A white woman stealing from an author of color, being enraged that this woman of color is more successful than her and believing that she deserves much more, is an everyday occurrence. Something that happens in everyday typical workplaces, not just in publishing. So while people may not like the way that the story was written, there is still some truth to it, whether you like it or not. Juniper, though, that woman needs help. This book is full of Juniper literally lying, cheating, and stealing in order to gain what she believes she deserves, and continually doubling down on her actions, knowing that she's in the wrong. It is an interesting read for sure, but being in Juniper's head it's an experience. We'll just call it an experience. The other character by R.F. Kuang is from Babel. Pretty sure you already know where I'm going with this. It's Letty. Here's the thing. When I started reading Babel, which I also enjoyed, I rated it 4 stars. I was really hoping that this little cohort that we were gonna see of translators, I was really hoping that we were gonna like all of them, because there's only 4 of them, right? But something early on about Letty just did not sit with me the right way. And then she starts coming in with microaggressions here, a little macroaggression over here. And then the big thing that she does literally made me pause, because I was like, I know this bitch did not just do what the fuck I think she just did. And once again, it has to do with a white woman having a false sense of entitlement. There are little things along the way that'll kind of make you side-eye Letty, but I really didn't think that she would go so far as to do the thing that she did, all because she couldn't have what she wanted, which again, not so far-fetched. But if Letty were a real person, 100% it would be on site, because justice needs to be served. Next character on this list is from Fourth Wing. I do have a review of this book. If you are interested, I'll have that linked for you as well. It's Dane. First and foremost, Dane's a bitch. I think we all agree on that, right? But it's the way that he is supposed to be the good guy, and we all know that when a guy claims to be a good guy, that he's not actually a good guy. But what pissed me off particularly about it is that he is supposed to be Violet's best friend. Not only does he put the rules of this academy above her, which is like really weird, because like, who really cares about rules that much, you know? And I understand that Dane's parent is also in a position of power in the military, but so is Violet's. So it's like, you just can't care that much. But the fact that he was consistently like, you can't be here, you're too weak. Nobody talks to their best friend that way. That is not normal behavior. The consistent, you can't be here, you need to leave, I'm gonna have to watch you die. So not only are you constantly belittling her, but then you made it about you, because she would be the one to actually die if she were going to die. But because it impacts you, that's the problem. And then in a literal life or death situation, he took someone else's side over hers without even having all the facts, and did it in a heartbeat, did not second guess it at all. And granted, we know how certain aspects of the story are going to end up, but for him to sort of come in as this best friend figure and then do all the shit that he did, and what he does at the end of the book, light that bitch on fire. Let one of the dragons fucking incinerate him. I swear to God, if Dane doesn't die in this next book, I'm going to be pissed. Rebecca Yarros and I are gonna have words. If by chance Rachel from Reads with Rachel is watching this, I'm sorry, buddy, this might upset you, but the next character is Vanya from Little Thieves. Hear me out, okay? I was so pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed Little Thieves. I rated it 4.5 stars. I thought Vanya was an interesting character, definitely had some inner work to do, but you know, she was getting there, she was making progress. The story was interesting. I liked all the characters. I love found family. I even didn't hate the romance. And this book is not the problem. Little Thieves is still good. However, I finished this 2 days, I think, before the sequel, Painted Devils, came out. So I was like, let me go ahead and get the audiobook and just continue the story since everything's still fresh. We start off a little rocky and I was like, okay, whatever. She's learning, she's growing, she's discovering things about herself, about her family, all this fun stuff, working on her relationship and her friendships. And I was here for it. I felt that Vanya had so much growth in this second book. And I was so proud of her. And then we get to the last chapter and the very last few pages. And she decided that she was going to take everything that she learned about herself, about her worth, about relying on the people that care about you. She was going to wrap it up into a little ball and throw that shit out the window. You mean to tell me, after having this amazing character arc, that you decide to just revert back to your old ways for no valid fucking reason? And the thing that pisses me off is that there's a problem that they're dealing with in book 2, right? And there's a very specific solution to that problem that we don't even know until the words come out of Vanya's fucking mouth herself. She literally has a situation with someone where this person is doing something to the person that she loves, and they're doing it because they have personal feelings that have nothing to do with this other person, really. She could have taken that information that she had. She could have gone to her loved ones because she has such a huge support system at the end of book 2. She could have gone to them and said, this is the solution to our problem. I figured it out, because Vanya's not a dumb bitch. At least I thought she wasn't. But then her actions say otherwise. So I guess she is. She could have taken that to them and been like, here's the situation. This is what we can do about it. And instead, she's like, I'm going to take everything that I have learned about myself over the past 2 books, and instead of doing what makes the absolute most fucking sense and is the very clear answer, I'm just gonna go back to doing dumb shit instead. While I was listening to the audiobook, I had to rewind it to make sure that I heard it correctly, because I was like, I know good and damn well this bitch is not about to do what the fuck I think she's about to do. And then she did it, and it was at that moment that I decided that I would not continue the series. I don't know when book 3 is supposed to be coming out. I believe it's supposed to be the end of the trilogy, but I don't fucking care anymore because I can't deal with Vanya's shit. So not only would I fight Vanya, but afterwards, I would recommend a therapist, because I think that's what she needs. For our last book character today, it's honestly a miracle that I haven't brought them up sooner, because this is the character who, when their name is mentioned, I immediately get angry because I fucking hate them that much. Gail from the fucking Hunger Games. Jesus Christ. Spoilers for the Hunger Games. I'm sure most people have read it at this point, but just in case you haven't, there will be spoilers. Gail is part of the reason that I hate Friends to Lovers so much, and granted, he and Katniss do not end up together. The whole I'm secretly in love with you and I'm gonna be mad at you for not loving me back bullshit, I can't fucking stand it. Gail's behavior throughout this entire series is despicable, because he doesn't want to run away to save Katniss. He doesn't want to run away because he wants their families to be safe. He wants to run away because he doesn't want Katniss to be with somebody else. The hardest part about watching the games for him was not seeing Katniss almost die multiple fucking times. It was seeing Katniss with Peeta, whether it was for show or not. One of the things that I really hate the most is anyone having a false sense of entitlement to someone else. And that is exactly what Gail feeds into. He assumes that because he and Katniss know each other so well, because they've been friends for so long, that she should naturally just want to end up with him. Now, I don't want to hear anybody saying, oh, well, he got friend zoned. The friend zone doesn't fucking exist. Just because you have feelings for someone does not mean that that person is obligated to reciprocate those feelings, especially when you're supposed to be their fucking friend. Imagine thinking that someone is actually actually genuinely your friend, but really they just want to fuck you. That's weird. That's fucking weird. At the end of the day, I really wouldn't even want to fight Gail. I would just want to torture him. I genuinely believe that he deserves a slow and painful death, and he should have died instead of Prim. The bonus TV character this time is one from One Chicago. If you know me, then you know that I love that whole world. Chicago Med, Fire, and PD are some of my favorite shows to watch. And the character that I would square up with is Will Halstead. He's one of the doctors on Chicago Med. This motherfucker is consistently breaking the rules, doing shit he's not supposed to do, and then being surprised that he has to deal with the consequences of his own actions. He is also the I'm in love with this person, and because I don't get my way, I'm gonna throw a huge motherfucking temper tantrum. There is a love interest for him. Her name is Natalie, and when the show starts, Natalie is pregnant with her dead husband's baby, right? So she's dealing with a lot of feelings, right? So Will wants to be with her. She's not quite ready. She has the baby, and he's like, you know what? I have to move on with my life. And she's like, oh, I mean, okay, cool. I understand. I respect that. So he starts dating somebody else, and eventually Natalie starts dating somebody else, and he can't fucking handle it. He is so jealous, yet he's also in a relationship with someone else, moves in with this woman while still pining after Natalie and getting mad at her for dating somebody else. And I'm just like, are you fucking stupid? He left at the end of the last season, and I genuinely hope that he's not fucking coming back, because he is the one character that I have wanted to leave since I started watching that show. Highly recommend that y'all watch One Chicago. Be aware of Will Halstead, because he's a bitch. So those are more characters that I would square up with. Let me know how you feel about any of the characters that I mentioned, how you feel about other characters in any of these books. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.